Hey there, I'm Ryan.
I'm Will.
I'm Ivan.
And tonight, we review the great finale of the Traitors US. This is the podcast where we watch reality TV so you don't have to. Welcome to episode 4 of It's Just a Game. Hello and welcome to episode 4 of It's Just a Game, the podcast where we watch reality TV so you don't have to. Joining me as every week is Ivan. Hi Ivan, how are you?
Hello, Ryan. I'm fine, thank you. Yes, very well indeed. How about you?
Yeah, not doing too bad. What about you, Wilf? How are you doing today?
I'm alright. You don't sound very well.
Look, yeah, okay. I mean,
no, he said he's okay. Don't ask him any more questions about that.
Like, I may have lost a lung just before we started recording. I'm a little bit cold, and when I have a cold, I sound a bit more French than usual. But don't worry, we'll have it since
I
later.
wasn't going to mention anything, but you didn't. Listen, you didn't say podcast. You said butt cats. So I think welcome to the butt cats.
The podcast. Well, anyway, welcome to the podcast. Now, if you're just joining us, this podcast is all about reality games. We're here to scrutinize, to laugh, to gossip, and to bitch about the most iconic reality TV show moments. Last week, we talked about love eggs, mud fights, and Christian's shenanigans in episodes 7 and 8 of the Traitors US. Tonight, we look at episode 9 and the great finale in episode 10. As always, be warned, we are entering a spoiler zone. If you haven't seen the end of the Traitors US, go away, and you can come back when you've done it. If you have seen it, stay here, sit down, and get ready as we debrief what I will describe as quite a traumatic episode. There's so much to discuss again, and we'll get to the victory in just a second. But first, I want to start with the aftermath of episode 8. We finished last week with Christian and Ari getting a bit too cocky, saying goodbye, the traitors are going to bed, and Cirie getting a bit annoyed now. And now episode 9 begins. We're in Traitors Tower, and Cirie is pissed. We've got some eye rolling, we've got some, you're speaking too damn much. We've got Ari saying that the whole day was damage control. She's calling it disdain. Like, it is genuinely mind-blowing. How did everyone... what did everyone think of Cirie's reaction in that moment? Would you have reacted the same way? Would you have been so annoyed at Christian for putting you in danger? Or is there no real danger?
Well, yeah, of course you would. What you got to think about is literally walking around saying we are the traitors. Like, I'd be so annoyed if I was going to go to bed and Alyssa went, bye from the traitors. Because people would be like, yeah, you know what people were like when they're in the house, that they've got, like you said, it's full of invisible biscuits, right? There's no crumbs. That is a crumb. Like, that would give people suspicion. So I do feel personally that I would have had a right go at Christian. I would have had a right go at him and said, look, you need to sort yourself out and shut up and just be quiet.
Ivan, would you have reacted the same way? Because I'm not going to lie, I can't see where the danger is for Cirie. It's just Christian is the only one exposing himself here.
Yeah, Cirie was at that point still very much thinking working as a team. And she was a terrifying mother, basically, being like, what you doing? But actually, like...
Is this just Cirie impression?
Sorry, yeah, I'll do it again. What you doing? I think if you just leave them to it, they're going to implicate and embarrass themselves, and you're going to go away scot-free.
It was a massive turning point for her, wasn't it? You could see her light bulb moment as in, I'm doing this by myself.
It was that moment, maybe, wasn't it? I mean, 2 episodes from the end, and obviously we know what happens now. I think everyone... This is the spoiler zone. Is this the spoiler zone?
We are in the spoiler zone. You can say what happens.
Yeah, it's sticky in here. Maybe this is the point where she decides, let's get rid of both of them. And yeah, turns out that's exactly what she does.
And my favorite bit with all of that as well is Christian just going, like, being completely oblivious to the whole thing. Just going, oh, it's okay. They'll never mention it at the round table. We now know that was poor analysis.
He just got overconfident. He thought it. He just. I think I said last episode, and I kind of hold to this. Like, I think he was just having such fun playing the game, being a traitor, that he forgot about actually trying to stay hidden. And was just loving the feeling of being this crazy guy who had a secret that he couldn't tell anyone. And by this point, it just entirely lost the plot about what would actually work and what was a good strategy and what was just him getting really close to revealing the secret but not revealing it. So, I mean, kind of deserved to lose from that point, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that when he started doing it was the last 2 episodes, wasn't it? Not 9 and 10. It was episodes 7 and 8 where he really just ruined it for himself. I think he could have gone all the way, and then he just started getting too cocky, and then he ends up in a battle against faithfuls and traitors, and that's what you don't want, right? You don't want to end up in a battle with both sides, and that's basically what happened. And bye-bye, driver.
That's obviously what happens next, and what's probably the most interesting part of all of this whole storyline, which is that all of a sudden this creates some sort of bond between Cirie and Ari, even though he's a late comer, to start bonding against Christian and just decide that he's gone. And the next morning,
Christian did it himself. Christian did it. So there's a part, right? They're in the billiards room, right? And Christian sits there and he goes, yeah, so it could actually be you. And then just let Ari know that I will go against you if I have to. And if you're going to, don't tell them. like, it was such a bad thing to do. And then instantly, Ari's like to Cirie going, yeah, by the way, man, like this guy's going to cut us all down.
I guess what's really interesting as well next is to see what Cirie does, which is that like there's a sort of union that creates between her and Ari, and all of a sudden Christian just left to the side. He's like really isolated from all the discussions, all the strategy. I guess my question for you, Ivan, is if you're Cirie in that time, do you go and unite with Ari, or do you just decide, hey, there's 2 days left, I'm going to start playing it alone because I can't trust any of these idiots?
Well, I think probably it's better to have a 2 because at least then you can backstab them. I think it's pretty obvious that Ari was the right choice of the 2 because he's more mature, trustworthy, and generally like not showing his hand too early. So it was right at the time to go with Ari. As we now know, in the end, she wasn't going with either of them.
Wilf, would you have tried to get closer to Ari, or would you have just decided to go about it on your own, thinking you can't trust anyone, it turns out?
No, so like my backstabbing, like I've been looking at it, I rewatched it again, and my backstabbing was very, very different to Cirie in terms of my backstabbing. The first one with Alyssa was to save myself, basically, and then the second one with Amanda was out of paranoia. It weren't really gameplay. It was just like, oh my god, I think she's going to do it to me, blah blah blah. Like it weren't really, oh, I'm going to do this to do that. And the Kieran one, I just had to because he was acting like a traitor and nobody would believe me if I said he wasn't. So Cirie was really tactical in her backstabbing, like, and yeah, she made the right decision by making Ari feel, made him feel that she is with him. And she said a certain line that was stuck with me. You know, I can't remember where they are. I think they might be in the traitor tower. She actually says to him, no matter what I say, don't listen, like in front of people or around people, just remember I'm sticking with you. So whatever I say about you, just don't listen to it. It's not true. Like don't listen to it. I'm with you. I'm going to stick with you. So yeah, when I listened to that and then seeing what she did, I was like, rah, she we'll talk about the ending after, but it was the right decision to get rid of Christian and make a pact with what's his? Well, I keep forgetting his name. What's his name? Ari. Yeah, it is Ari. I keep thinking I'm getting it wrong. I keep going to say Cody, but
okay, now there's one other thing I do want to get back to because it's been a topic throughout the series and it's coming back in the last 2 episodes. Once again, Kate and Rachel being a distraction. And you'd think that'd be finished with Rachel leaving the castle in episode 8, but it's back once again because everyone was like, oh, hey, look, we got Rachel, we were wrong, and it has to be Kate. And just like that, the faithfuls make another mistake. And I'm just thinking, surely that doesn't make sense. Is anyone going to realize that being incorrect, like being confidently incorrect, is a faithful thing to do?
Can I just say, there's 2 things I want to say about Kate. One thing is, I think the way she's changed her attitude towards the end is amazing. Like she's
grown on me.
Yeah, she really, like, even though I liked her anyway because she was really sassy, she's just become this really likable character. And then the second thing is I don't know if it's the right time to say it, but when what's his name sitting there, Quentin is sitting there, right, with Christian. And then Christian talks about Ari, and then they're like,
I voted for you, Kate.
I voted for you, Kate. No, he's like that. He goes up to someone after, I think it's Cirie, and he literally goes, have you thought about it being Christian? And then so he's on the right track. And then he goes, I voted for you, Kate. I was like, how have you got it wrong again? Like every single
So
vote.
close.
Like,
Yeah, it's so
I was
far.
like, he's going to get one vote right. He's going to get one right. And then he goes, I voted for you, Kate.
I voted for you,
No.
Kate. Actually, I didn't even rub it off. I just
Like the way Quentin was at the round table just killed me. He's just nodding, like one of these like dog toys you can get. Like he's just nodding, like, and then like as if like he's finally got it, and then he's like, "I voted for you, Kate." I actually love Quentin. He made the show very funny.
Maybe with the first merch for the show should be a nodding dog, but it's Quentin, and also as he nods, he slowly fills in a chalkboard saying "Kate."
No, you know them old figurines. No, you know the little boxing character figurines. Yeah, you should have a nodding dog and a little pushy thing at the back, and it goes, "Voted for you, Kate." His arm comes up. So he's like this.
Flips.
"Voted for you, Kate."
It flips, and then when you delete it, flips back.
Quentin, if you're listening, we're taking 20%.
Yeah, 20% of your nodding dog.
Of your Kate votes.
And next week we'll be like, it's a game. It's just a game podcast sponsored by Quentin's nodding dogs.
Sponsored by voting for you, Kate. Have you ever wanted to vote for Kate? Well, now you can with this easy subscription plan. We'll send you 6 chalkboards a month and 1 chalk, and you can write Kate on each one.
But you know what? Like, we do have to admit, Kate has gone on like some sort of character arc. Like, I did not like her at the start. I still don't like her, but I like her a bit better.
I didn't like her at the very, very beginning when she was like best friends with Brandy. And then when Brandy went out, I think her just walking through the missions, just not doing anything, I thought was hilarious. And then late now she's getting stuck in. She's actually trying to enjoy herself. And yeah, we don't really want to talk about her exit yet, do we? So,
well, actually, yeah, let's get on to her exit now. Like, Wilf, what's your take on this exit? Because she made it incredibly far for somebody who hated this game.
yeah, well, her exit, I think she exited really graciously, like comparing to how I think she would have exited earlier on if she got voted out. She probably would have.
Did you expect her to pull a Brandy and say "fuck you" 600 times on the way out?
Yeah, that I did expect that earlier on if she got voted out, because I think she grew to enjoy the game. I think she went graciously, and I felt sorry for her for some reason. I was like, I sort of wanted her to go through to the final, just for the fact
she knew she was never winning.
Yeah, and she just wanted to see the faithful win in the end, didn't she? She wasn't that bothered about winning. She just didn't want the traitors to win, basically.
I just think it's such fun watching somebody, around episode 5, she just literally wanted to leave. She was like, get rid of me, send me out, I want to go home. But she didn't want to, leave. She wanted to get voted out. And by this point in the game, she was so in it. She was loving it. And it's like, I just felt proud of her. It's so weird. I'm going to go further than you, Ryan. I started off obviously not liking her because you were supposed not to like her. Ended up thinking she was absolutely brilliant. I think second to Cirie. I think she's probably my favourite person in the whole show.
Yeah, and you know what? In the last episode, it looks like the money that she threw off her hill in episode 6. It looks like it kept rolling down the hill until it made its way into the river, and then all the way into the lock, and they got to pick it back up from the lock in the final challenge. So all is forgiven.
I'll tell you what. That frustrated me so much. The fact that he was like, doesn't matter. Forget all the missions you've ever done. You could have sat there with your finger up your bum and done nothing at all. And it means no difference because you can win all of it right now.
Sorry, Ivan, can you remember which mission was in there that required having a finger up your bum? Because I must have missed that one.
Do you know what I'm trying to say is, if they had their fingers up their bum and earned nothing at all in any of the missions, they still would have had the chance to win all 250k of it in the last week. So what's the point?
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's like Gladiators. End of the episode. You've got 5 million points to his 10. That means you get half a second bonus on the Travelator. It's not fair.
You know what it's like? It's like, do you remember I remember playing football when I was at school, yeah? And your team would be winning like 15-0. And then the PE teacher will go, right, next goal wins. Like,
next goal wins.
No!
No!
That's basically what it is, isn't it? It's like,
how dare he do that? Why does it even matter how much money it is? It's all a lot of money. Like, whether it's 220 or 250, it ruins the entire show to say you get the whole 250.
Well, it's pointless doing missions, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like people loved saying that the missions were pointless, but like at least they have on purpose.
They really were.
In this occasion, the missions really were.
It's annoying.
I'm just thinking of all that time I could have had my finger up my bum. And
Ryan would have had a lovely time buried alive.
Instead, I spent the whole time ringing bells and directing sheep. Like, what a wasted opportunity.
Instead of playing with bells, you could have been playing with the end of the bell.
You could have been just sat there
Exactly.
fingering yourself.
Well, actually, Will, there was a private challenge in episode 6. So after Ivan left, I'm not sure you were invited, but yeah, there was this private challenge, and
They brought me back for it.
yeah, it's a game that I call Find the Carrot. So we're in a room, you got to find a carrot.
Oh,
We never did find that carrot, did we, Ryan?
Well, trust, I found it. I know where it is.
I searched far and wide.
The carrot was just below the egg.
Yeah.
Just beyond my reach.
Wait, Fergus disappeared.
No, he comes back. He hands champagne glasses in episode 10.
Oh,
in
yeah,
episode
but he
n-
disappeared for so long. I was like, where is my man?
He spent 4 episodes trying to pour the champagne.
Look, the man is busy. He's got a job to do. Somebody's got to polish the stags.
He's got some club hands that can't open the bottle. He's there stuck trying to open the bottle for about 3 days.
Now, but obviously he was working collecting all the money they'd thrown away, because I suspect that they...
Yeah, to just give them it anyway.
He probably just have been waiting with the black suitcase full of dollar
So
bills.
what he actually did for 3 days, he finished the tasks for them, so they won all of the money, and then just give it to them in the end.
He spent 2 days pushing a barrel on his own.
Post-credit sequence where we just cut to Fergus dancing underneath the lasers and like through like James, like Mission Impossible, just like with a massive polystyrene statue of an angel just sort of darting through.
Oh my God.
After the final shot, you just see Fergus going to Cirie and be like, hey, here you go, here's the dollars.
Here's your dollars. Ari, do you want some?
Look, we'll get to that in just a second. Now, before we get to the ultimate betrayal, and I'm sure everyone who's seen the episodes knows what we're talking about, I have to talk about something pretty bold that Cirie does in the last Traitors Tower. She's having a chat with Ari, Christian's now gone, and she's telling him, hey, look, you can trust me. Can you ever trust a traitor?
No, I don't care. Like, you can't. And that's the issue with the game. Like, you will never be able to trust any of the traitors, because when you do, like, and I fully respect, but also feel sorry for Ari, but respect what Cirie done in terms of you go through so much as a traitor. In the end, you're just like, I'll do anything now. I've gone through it all. So I think towards the end, I think at the beginning, traitors are very close. And then you see that every traitor has a different group of people they're friends with. And then like that friendship group I can't explain it, but it's like their group could be against you at some point and they will have to vote with that group. So do you know what I mean? It sort of becomes, they're going to betray at some point.
Ivan, same question first before we get to talking about a betrayal.
Hello.
Can you ever trust a traitor?
Don't know. I think there is a time when you can, but at that stage when they'd only got rid of one traitor, and even if they planned to get rid of Christian, probably not. I mean, I can imagine a situation where you could. I think if you're a faithful, you can trust a traitor. If you're a traitor, you can't trust another traitor. Because remember, we're talking about this. Traitors can get all the way to the end with the faithful. That's fine, and probably get rid of them at the end. I don't know. I haven't really got a strong opinion about this. You can cut this all out if you want.
Well, I guess we have the answer, actually. Can you ever trust a traitor? Let's talk about it. The answer is clearly not. Because in the final, the ultimate betrayal takes place. You think that Ari and Cirie are going to win together. And then, as they are at the fire of truth, Cirie decides to throw red on the fire, decide to vote again, and to vote out Ari to go the final minutes on her own. First reaction, when you saw that?
Do you know what? I there was 2 things I thought, yeah. I was like, I was really intrigued and excited to see Ari fight, like talk and have an actual discussion and try to stick it on Cirie, but that never happened. He just quit. So that really annoyed me. I was like, why did he could have tried at least and whatever. But the problem was as well, I kept thinking, I wish he'd parting gift her at a point. I was like, should have parting gift her. Like, do you know what I mean? I felt really sorry for him because he genuinely would have split the money if it was a split. Still at any point, he would have done that. And then Cirie, I respect her. I think she played her game really, really well and up the traitors. That's why I'm wearing the traitor cape today, because I was proud that the traitors won. But
No.
at the same time, it was like, she didn't have to do that. It was completely unnecessary. Like, they were all going to end the game anyway, and she was going to split the money. And she knew that as well. And she could have split that money. I know it's going to help her family. I know it's going to help this, but that's what I was scared of Amanda doing. I remember thinking, would she split or steal? I think she'd steal in the end. That's one of the reasons why I grew the seed when Kieran planted it.
But her justification for getting rid of Ari was that he hadn't been a traitor for as long as her, so it wasn't fair if he won as much money as her. And like, that's really interesting, because he had been playing the game as long as her. It's not like he'd just been sitting around with his finger up his bum the whole time. Do you know what I mean? Like, like some of us had. He had been playing the game, and like, she didn't know what it's like to be a faithful, just like faithfuls don't know what it's like to be a traitor. But it was pretty darn scary, because you didn't know what was going on any second. You were completely powerless, and it was a horrible feeling. So I don't know. I think actually the justification she had of like, well, I've worked harder than him, I should win.
I think it's wrong, because he had, like you said, he had. If you contribute towards the game, right? So what I feel is, I brought Kieran in, and I was willing to share with him if we got through there, but he couldn't act. He weren't the best traitor. But the thing is, if you're bringing somebody in later on in the game and they contribute to you staying in that game, and they contribute towards your game plan, they deserve that money too. Like, he helped orchestrate the getting rid of Christian, because Christian was the worst traitor at the time. Like, he helped that. He made that decision, and he contributed to Cirie getting to the final. Really?
Do you think that, like, with what Cirie did and getting rid of Ari like that, do you think that could have in any way kind of encouraged people to look at her? I know they didn't.
Yeah,
like,
I was so shocked.
It should have.
So, like, for me, when I watched it, he went bright red, right? Andy went and cuddled Cirie. So did, first it was Quentin, went and cuddled Cirie. They all had a little share of cuddles, and they cuddled Ari. She did not go towards it. She didn't even look at him. And that would have sparked, I would have thought, something's not right here.
Some of that could have been selective editing. But to me, if I was Cirie in that situation, and she did so well, and she had nerves of steel, but I would have been thinking, it's not worth me risking losing it all just to take all the money. At this stage, there's 2 of us out of 4. We literally have, not a majority, we have 50%. We can just force this game to end. It doesn't matter. Like, it was so weird to me that she would risk herself losing just in order to take all of it, when we know, well, she didn't, obviously. She hadn't seen the British show, but we know it's so easy at that point for parting gift.
Yeah. Well, parting gift won't be a part of next season, will it? So, because
they're going to have to block it so hard.
Oh no! People will be parting gifting all the way. Like, that's what made me so angry about this. Like, Ari, like, fight back. It was so, like, I don't know. I'm just like, everything about this ending makes me angry. The way Cirie just went like, oh, he hasn't earned it. That was like greedy. That was entitled. I rooted for her the whole series, and that just put me off her straight away. I just that was too entitled.
I agree. Like, I feel like, when we talk, the UK cast, nobody feels like we're trauma bonded, and we all went through the experience together. No one says, "Oh, I did more in the show than you did." Nobody ever says that. It's like, we went through it. Nobody really knew what they were doing. Like, we just went into this big mansion, big castle, and got told, go into reality, figure out who's murdering who. Like, it was, and nobody believes that. I don't go, oh, I should have won that show. I got all the way to the final. I did more than anyone. Like, it's not, do you know what I mean? It's not like I've.
Yeah, it's not a trauma contest.
Yeah, I remember sitting in the diary room, the myths, right, and saying, I've done so much. Like, it's been so hard. I have to get over the finish line. I have to try and get there and win. But it weren't like, oh, Kieran's only been a traitor for a day, I'm going to backstab him. Yeah. Like, it weren't like that. If I would have happily went with Kieran, but the fact is, he couldn't handle the pressure of being a traitor.
Yeah. You'd worked so hard, you'd done so much, but also you weren't comparing that to other people and saying, I've done more than this person, therefore I deserve it more than them. You were just talking about yourself, your own experience. And
she would have got 125 grand anyway. So for me, it was like they literally had no clue. They were ready to finish the game, and she was happy to carry it on.
Yeah.
And like you said, Ivan, it's such a risk. Yeah, he could have just went, do you know what? I hate this game. It's you've just backstabbed me, because you never know what people do in their anger and emotion. So why are you going to throw that risk out there for somebody to actually not even part in gift, just go nuts and ruin the whole game and to be like, you're the traitor, and then walk off?
I'll tell you the thing mathematically as well, is that 2-on-2 is way better than 1-on-3. So like if you want to force end the game, it doesn't even matter on 2-on-2 if they think that you're traitors, because you can just make sure they always get as much votes as you get. Literally, 2-on-2, I could say to Andy and Quentin, by the way, I'm a traitor, vote for me if you want, but both of us will just vote for you. It's just 2-2. It's always going to be 2-2. You literally can force a stalemate in the game with 2-on-2. You can't with 1-on-2. So it was like, genuinely, once you've got to 2-on-2, the game is over. It's done. The fact that she got rid of him and made herself a minority to the two faithfuls, just to one traitor, was it worked somehow, but it wasn't optimal. It was not even close.
Could it just be that she knew that she just had Ari and Quentin in her pocket? Quentin had been wrong in every single decision of the series.
He voted for Kate at the fire pit. She wasn't even there.
So I voted for you, Kate. When he threw the little fire thing in there, Kate's face came. Did you see it? When he threw the fire thing in, if you look really closely, Kate's face is just in the fire. And can we just talk about Andy? I felt so heartbroken for Andy. They played the game so well. And
they deserved the money. They had a good reason.
Yeah, they had a good reason. And I think Quentin, I loved Quentin. I thought he was really entertaining, such a nice guy. And I loved the fact that he got every vote wrong and was in the final. It just shows that sometimes you can be wrong as whatever and still get to the final. It's such an open game. You don't have to be a magical strategist and hypnotist and all this to be able to figure out who it is. You can just get it wrong all the time and win.
In fact, in this game, the more wrong you are, the more chances you have of getting to the final.
Yeah, well, if you look at in our game, Meryl won the contest, and Meryl didn't really have Hannah went through quite a lot, in terms of Tom went mad at Hannah and Hannah had to go deal with Tom blaming her. Aaron had John and Maddie all the time. Meryl had Maddie at times, but she was wrong most of the time when she was voting, because she wouldn't I was the traitor and I was one of her good friends, so she's never going to vote for me. So I think, like you said, I think if you're wrong all the time, it doesn't really matter.
Do you know what, though, as well? Actually, sometimes it's really nice to go and check people out on social media after the show's over, because Andy is living what looks to me like an idyllic life with a baby and a lovely house and a lovely life. And it's like, if that's what's happened, then we know that it's not such a bad outcome.
Okay, well, I guess with that finish, quite sad, quite annoying finish as I'm concerned, are you happy with the overall winner? Is it short yes or no, or are you still satisfied that she kind of deserved it, Ivan?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm saying it was a bad choice to knock out Ari because it was a suboptimal play, but she did deserve to win. She played a blinder. She was the best traitor of all of them. She did a great job. She deserves the money. Well done her.
Wilf, what do you think?
I'm really happy with the overall, as you can tell by my robe that I'm wearing with my hood up, I'm very happy with the outcome, but I'm not happy of how it all turned out. I'm happy the traitors won, but it would have been better if it was split at the end. That's my opinion. That's just because I would have split. And that's it.
No, you wouldn't, you cheeky monkey. You would have stabbed everyone in the back.
Nah, I definitely wouldn't. I really wouldn't at that point.
That's the CEO of Backstabbing is here with us today.
Sponsored by Backstabbing Media.
Okay, well, let's finish with this one final question to wrap up our review of the Traitors US. At the beginning, in the first episode, I asked you all who your favourite players were. Can you just remind us, for each of you, who your favourite players were on the first day and who your favourite players are now throughout the series, having seen all 10 episodes? Wilf.
My favourite to begin with was Michael and Quentin. And now I've watched all 10 episodes, I would say Cirie and Quentin. They are my favourites. The reason being, entertainment factor for Quentin, and Cirie just absolutely smashed it. And even though she backstabbed everyone, I don't care. She did really well. She smashed it. So,
Ivan, what about you? Favourite traitor, favourite faithful, and how has this changed?
Don't really remember what I said. I think I said maybe Andy and Cirie both got to the final. Therefore, I think I win. Do I win? Does that mean I win? I think it means I win.
I'll send you a box of eggs in the post.
Thank you.
And
That's
some
great.
invisible biscuits.
Yeah, oh, pack of those, please. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about favourites. I think I wasn't really watching it for favourites, but as I say, I was rooting for Cirie. So happy about that. Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan.
Well,
Yeah, Ryan.
sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, come on. Yeah, Ryan. That is your real name.
I started the series being a big fan of Michael on the faithful side, and a big fan of Cirie in the end. I think Cirie's put me off her the way the final went. I think it was a bit greedy, a bit too greedy for my taste, and I was a bit disappointed. So I think favorite traitor probably Christian because he delivered in terms of entertainment value. He was great. At favorite faithful, still Michael. He was there for a good time, not a long time, but he delivered.
Well, can I just say, Ryan, you may say that Cirie was greedy, but I would say to you, it's just a game.
It's just a game.
It's just a game. And I think on that conclusion, that's how we'll leave you for the analysis of the first season of the Traitors US. The Traitors US will be back later on Peacock, probably in a year from now. I'm sure we'll be back to discuss Series 2 of the Traitors US as well. Any final words, any parting gifts for anyone listening to this first mini-series of It's Just a Game?
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting involved. Thanks for all the nice comments. And I hope you enjoy when we talk about other things that isn't Traitor.
I'd like to say that as of yesterday, I am running the London Marathon for Samaritans. I haven't got a donate link up yet, but once you've listened to this, hopefully I will. If not, follow me on whatever, and then I'll put a link up. And it would be really great if we could raise some money for Samaritans. But all three of us are men approaching the time of our lives when it's pretty high risk for lots and lots of things, including suicide. And I just reckon it's good if we can raise some awareness and some money for people in vulnerable positions.
I agree.
A great final word. We're not quite yet done chatting about the Traitors US. We may be looking to do a few interviews with some of the most iconic players of this US series. Until then, if you liked us, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Tell a friend about it. Give us 5 stars or a like. Follow us on social media. It's just a game.podcast on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, MySpace, and Tamagotchis. Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on there. We'll be back very soon chatting about new shows as well. But for now, thanks for tuning in. I am Ryan Rashidi. You can follow me on Instagram at the Gram of Ryan.
My name is Wilfred Webster. You can follow me on Instagram at Wilfred Webster Official. Also, my new page, I'm Voted for You, Kate, is on Instagram as well.
Well, I feel like cheeky because I thought the plugging bit happened 5 minutes ago when I said about the marathon. So I'm not going to plug myself anymore. I can't do it twice. So I'm just voting for you, Kate.
Well, on that note, from all of us here, it's see you very soon and goodbye.
Bye.